Hello, this is TB81974, current detachment leader of the Pathfinders as of 2020. So if you're watching this, hello. If you're watching this in the future, congratulations, you survived the apocalypse. So today we're going to talk about the Return of the Jedi Biker Scout CRL, the bread and butter CRL of our detachment, with over 1,200 members in armor. It's definitely our biggest costume and the granddaddy of our detachment. Every other costume we have is in some way an homage to the Return of the Jedi Biker Scout. So let's get started. First, of course, we're going to go with the helmet. So we're going to be looking for a gloss white or semi-gloss finish. We want that the lens is black and obscures your eyes. You can't see anybody in there. The decals are screen accurate, so we have decals here, here, and on the back. The inner edge of the snout recess is black. That's this area right here, this little curved area around the front. The bolts that this hinges on, they're going to be gray, and either for level 1 approval they can be flat, but we prefer they be indented or concave. The helmet is true to the shape of the original screen accurate helmet. And what do we mean by that? We mean that basically it needs to look like this. Can't be like weird and squished or square. It has to have that jawline taper. It has to have the nice shape to the visor area. I mean, basically it's got to look like this. Next, for basic approval, is the balaclava. It's a balaclava. The undersuit. Most of us use a boiler suit, you know, like one made by Red Cap or Dickies. The Mandarin collar. What is this? This is just a pocket that was removed from the suit and then sewed into a flap. The famous butt flap. Just sewn along the back seam here. This is a piece of suede. It's about 12 by 12. Might vary for you depending on your own size. Thigh straps, 2 inches. Right now we ask for elastic, although looking at screenshots of the film, they don't look like elastic straps, but we don't actually know what they are, so we're sticking with elastic for now. The thigh patches, the riding patches that go inside of the wearer's leg. Similar to something you'd see like on a jockey. Since biker scouts ride bikes, they have these thigh patches. Let me just flatten it out so you can see how it looks on the inside of the leg. The shoulder bells, gloss white, semi-gloss, maybe lightly weathered. I use zip tie T-straps to connect mine to my chest armor, which I'll show you in a bit. And then inside I have anchored the strap to go around my arm. Bicep armor or upper arm armor. Also pretty simple. Gloss white, semi-gloss. Elastic on the back to strap it to your arm. Goes through here. And then in the front we have the T-bit, as we call it, made up of a bit from a TIE Fighter model, and then this square bit down here that we're still trying to figure out what the original source of this was. Generally when we wear them, we like to wear it so that the 2 circles are facing front. So this one would be my left arm, and that would be the right. Forearm armor. Again, gloss white or semi-gloss, lightly weathered, elastic to hold it to your arm. We like it so that you wear them above the glove or over top of the glove, but not inside the glove. That's kind of a fashion faux pas. And speaking of gloves, here are the gloves. Now I have the actual Esprit rain gauntlets that were used in the production. I had to make the modifications to them for our purposes, so that meant removing the zipper and dyeing all this black. They just have to be black with the patches on the thumb, forefinger and middle finger. They have the 4 tightly spaced ribs, and all clips and straps and everything else have been removed. Okay, this next item may shock some of you out there. It's the vest. Now why is the vest so shocking? Because mine is done like this. This is how it was done in the film. The codpiece is actually sewn to the bottom of the vest, and black strap connects to the back of the vest. I know most of you don't have it that way. It's okay, we can't all roll screen accurate, but let me just walk you through the vest requirements. It's a black matte finish fabric, usually something heavy. A lot of people like to use duck cloth. The vest sleeves are raglan, which means they connect at the collar instead of at the shoulder like my t-shirt does. The raglan sleeves connect up here. The sleeves have ribbing going down about 1 inch apart. And they're padded. You should put some batting or something inside to achieve the padding effect. We like it so that the sleeve doesn't go too far past the shoulder bell. The closure is right over left. Sometimes when people are making these, they get these reversed. We do specify in the CRL that it has to be right over left. Jumping back to armor, we have the chest piece. Gloss white, semi-gloss, lightly weathered. Make sure you have your gray rectangular area colored in here. Some people use paint, some people use a gray decal. I used a gray decal. A lot of people ask, what color gray should I use? That's a question we get a whole lot about painting different parts of the costume gray. We don't know the exact color paint used, so as a rule of thumb, we always say, get a gray that matches your decals. With the chest, where it meets the back, we ask you to put a strip of fabric right here. It can be webbing. Looking at screenshots, to me, it looks like elastic, so I use elastic. We ask for a strip of fabric now instead of a loop, because again, looking at screenshots, in some of them you can see fraying here on the edge where it was cut. So the easiest way to achieve this is to just get a piece of elastic and glue it. That's what I've done. I've just glued it. We have white webbing that connects it to the back armor. Now with mine, I've made it into a belt on the inside that goes all the way around. And that brings us to the back armor. Gloss white, semi-gloss, lightly weathered. Back armor has a center tank attached. In the film, the tank was held onto the back with an elastic strap, so that's what I've done with mine. See, the elastic is held in by the rivet here and here. We don't require that, but you might as well do it right the first time. The best shot we have of this is the Magic of the Myth Scout from the Smithsonian about 20 some odd years ago, and that's where we get a lot of this information from. We ask for the white painted circle, the red going down the middle of this dial. There's also this rounded greebly right here. These are done with decals. You shouldn't paint them. Use a decal. Same here. There are vendors that sell these decals. A lot of the makers include them with their kits. For this, I just made my own out of black vinyl. Here We allow you to number this anywhere from 0 to 6 stripes here. A lot of people like to do this one. This is the design from the Scout that got the drop on Princess Leia. Also has this trapezoid bit right here. Okay, we're going back to soft goods, everybody's favorite. The cummerbund. Basically a long rectangular garment that goes around here. It should go from your pectorals down to about your belly button. Shouldn't go past it, shouldn't go up. It should not be like this big tortilla that wraps up your entire body. Just like this. A good rule of thumb is 8 to 9 inches from here, from the bottom to the top. White fabric, cotton, something light, not duck cloth. Duck cloth's too heavy, it's gonna make you hot. Get something light. Closes in the back with a 2-inch hook and loop fastener. Again, right over left. Chest armor should overlap it about that much. And then it comes down here and stops at the belt. In the front of the bund, we have the ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, made from 6 lines. They're about 1 inch apart. Best way to achieve this is to make sure you get enough batting and padding inside of your cummerbund. That way you can actually see these from a distance. Some people don't put enough batting in and they put the lines, but from a distance you can't see them, especially when you're submitting your photos to your GML. It looks like you don't have any ribs. Back to the cod piece. Here's mine. Again, attached to the vest. Some people attach it to the flight suit. Some people attach it to the cummerbund. That's probably my least favorite way to do it because it's all gonna move the wrong way. You have this curved detail here along the bottom. It's a little tricky because it's not exactly a semicircle. It's not a chevron. It's kind of a blend of both. It kind of goes up straight on both sides and then gets to the apex and then there's a curve and then it goes back down straight on the other side. I took the costumes book and just traced it out of there. You're gonna want the batting and some sort of fabric stabilizer to keep it from crumpling up. You don't want the crumpled look. Keep it like a light cotton, something that's not gonna make you too hot. Again, because these layers stack up and you don't want to be wearing a lot of duck cloth. Finally, with the cod piece, there's this 2-inch elastic strap. This here goes down between your legs and connects to the back of your suit. This again, some people connect it to the cummerbund, some people connect it to the flight suit, ballers connect it to the vest. Pouches should be white or off-white. If you go off-white, you have to make your other strapping on your chest and your belt match. Our sources from the different costumes books say these were made from canvas, so canvas, duck cloth, something heavy. They have flaps in the front, and you can put foam inside to shape them out. I have foam and then a cutout so I can store things. I attach mine to the cummerbund using Velcro. They go with the flat end facing the ribs, not the other way around like some scouts do. In the film, these were sewn to the cummerbund. You can see this attachment tab here was like stitched down. The belt and the thermal detonator. It's going to be gloss white, semi-gloss, lightly weathered. Belt's made out of plastic in the front. The fastener in the back is nylon or polypro. Closes with Velcro. You only use one rivet, one silver rivet on each side. I use 1/8 rivets all over. Anywhere rivets needed on this costume, 1/8 rivet will do it. Hanging from the belt are the 2 drop boxes. You attach them to the belt with this webbing, same webbing you use for your chest piece. On each end is one of these parachute buckles. If you look on the back, you can see It's not an actual connection, it's just made to look that way. That's how it was done in the film. A common question we get is, how do you attach the straps to the back? I sewed mine on there. Some people like to use rivets. That's really up to you, as long as it works, because this is something that you can't see. It's hidden by the thermal detonator, so we don't really care. On the back of the belt goes the thermal detonator. Has the rectangular greebly on this side, the dot on this side. This is our attachment standard. I know we've seen this every which way. This is the way that we asked it to be done in the CRL. There's a shot of the Scout riding the speeder bike, the blue screen Scout, and this is how he has his, so that's what we go with. You want your prongs to be pointing up. You can use corrugated hose for the tube. I used a wire wrapped tube. I bought a clear plastic tube from the hardware store and then wrapped it with electrical wire, and then spray painted it gray, kind of the same color as my decals. And then to attach it to the belt, I use these belt clips, for a drill. Just rivet them on the back, and they slide really nicely over top of the nylon fastener in the back. We get to the knee armor. Gloss white or semi-gloss, maybe lightly weathered. Elastic to hold it onto your leg. Here's the Lancer elastic that is riveted to the top. We're finally down to the boots. These aren't, real boots that you find in a store. These are hiking boots that are covered with vinyl or leather if you're going to go really screen accurate, and made to look like spaceman boots. The soles of the boots are tan. There is we call it the dog bone. It's this piece of leather, or most of us use vinyl. It just covers the seam between this and this covering. The dog bone has the double stitching right here on both sides. And the boots are secured up the back with a hook and loop fastener. This boot is the left boot, so it's the only one that has a left over right covering. The right boot's got right over left. So as far as the height of this, we kind of like it so that it goes up your calf and ends like right below your knee armor, doesn't overlap with it. Not a level 1 requirement, but a lot of people do like to do the cutouts in the soles to give them the appearance of the original boots. These are the originals, so you can see the pattern on the soles. And then finally, the last bit on the level 1 approval is the holster. Gloss white, semi-gloss, maybe lightly weathered. Gets riveted to the right boot. 4 silver rivets in each corner. Your blaster fits inside. Now I like to reinforce mine at the top with a piece of plastic on the inside, kind of like a bracket. This just keeps the holster from pulling too hard and ripping holes in your boots. There's one optional accessory that most of us carry, and that's the EC-17 blaster pistol. With these, all we want are flat or semi-gloss black. Shouldn't have a trigger. If you have one of those old Kenner blasters or a blaster that's made from a Kenner blaster, you can't have a trigger. And it can be lightly weathered. Mine has some silver chips on it. Okay, so now that I've walked you through the Return of the Jedi Biker Scout CRL, let's get this thing on and see how it looks. So I'm back and in armor, demonstrating the very best thing about the Return of the Jedi Biker Scout. You can sit while you're wearing it. So if you want to be comfortable in a troop and have a lot of flexibility, and want to have some of that original trilogy coolness, please sign up to the Pathfinders and become a Return of the Jedi Biker Scout. Now, let's get those buckets on.